Hey, it is a dark episode for April the 14th, 2024. We've been watching The Gilmore Girls. We're up into I think like episode 14 by now. And man, I'm really enjoying this show. I heard about it from Dave White and Alonzo Giraldi of Linoleum Knife, the LA film critics who also dabble in television criticism and do a food podcast as well. Um, don't actually get to listen to the podcast. That's higher up in the Patreon support structure than my particular price range. And yeah, I'm really glad that we started it. It's like a 2000s show, and same Amy Palladino, who is done the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I enjoyed like the first season of which we watched, but then we kind of drifted away. Not because it was bad, but maybe it was just I don't know. We just didn't continue with it for whatever reason. But really enjoying the Gilmore Girls. It's kind of, it's strangely, it's. I thought it was going to be overly sentimental because of its theme song, but it's got a nice kind of bite to it, and she is like a true inheritor of kind of rapid fire dialogue, long takes, rapid fire dialogue, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, really witty, um, well written, kind of spiky characters who are you think they're going to be like some might be boring or cliche, but they just keep on kind of growing and getting little more things to them, and they're just it's really well done. Like yeah. So quite enjoying that, and it's also strangely it's comfort as well as kind of entertaining, and just this mother daughter relationship is really superbly done. I like, yeah, yeah, just in general, really enjoying that show. So that is what I've chosen to talk about for this dark episode, apparently. Other than that, read out my House of Mirth, which I'm also really enjoying, which has a really good relationship between Lily Bart and Lawrence Selden, and how Lawrence Selden sort of forces is forcing Lily Bart to kind of confront rather unwillingly the kind of the worst aspects of herself, um, and just sort of highlight it for us at the same time. There's like a real pull there of like, I should be this smart person who just wants the money and the riches, but I also kind of really into this guy, and there's a part of me that wants to be free and be with this guy, but there's also a very strong part that just wants to be wealthy and to have all the stuff, um, and the probably the status as well. And it's within this kind of the tight strictures of this turn of the 19th, 20th century um, time. This is like a 1908 novel or something like that by Edith Wharton. So yeah, really enjoying that as well. Was been listening to Steve Donahue in his live streams, where he's going on about serial killers for the most part, and a little bit about booktubers, but mostly about serial killers. Oh, he shared a thing about how actually a guy that unfortunately one of the duo of the KFAB um, channel, which was two cartoonists, one of whom was Ed Piskor, who would kind of go through comics. Very much, you never saw their faces; they were just pointing down at the comics, and they would go through and talk about it. And it was a really interesting show because they're both kind of fairly knowledgeable cartoonists, comic artists, and Ed Piskor got accused of sexual improprieties, and he his show got canceled, the deal got canceled, and he committed suicide. And Steve Donahue was very much of the opinion that he was murdered, in that the people who accused him or the people who canceled the deals, they killed him. Which there's, you know, you that's not something I would agree with. You know, it sucked. Uh, really sucked if, you know, it was. I have a feeling it was probably more complicated than he just didn't do it at all. Um, I would, you never know. I was involved in my YouTube career in something where it was calling out somebody who was, I think, fairly in the wrong. But, you know, the, the, maybe he withdrew a bit from the booktube community and it sucked for him for a bit, but that's fine. And, you know, he also made a lot of women feel unwelcome in his community. Um, don't, I mean, it's really something I don't want to ever participate in again for a variety of reasons. Um, but did they murder that guy? Or did that guy make some choices of his own? I mean, there seems to have been some really inappropriate exchanges of DMs with a 16, 17-year-old girl, which, you know, he says he regrets and he was very sorry for, and but he feels like he's a pariah, he lost everything, and he killed himself. And it's like, it's part of me that's just like, you made decisions, buddy. Um, a variety of decisions, and one of them was to kill yourself. And I don't think I absolve him from the responsibility of what he did and killing himself as well. My father committed suicide. That was his choice. That he did that. He was an alcoholic, and yes, I think there's a lot of contributing things that contributed towards his death. He lost his job. If he didn't have the particular support that he needed, I was a 17-year-old kid at the time. I wasn't going to be giving him any support. I was, um, as much as he was suffering from alcoholism, the whole family was suffering from the alcoholism, so we weren't giving him the support. But he made a decision, and yeah. So, you know, I'm going to continue listening to Steve Donahue, and I just definitely made the peace with, I'm never going to, you know, I can listen to what other people say without saying, oh, well, I'm never going to listen to you again because you don't agree with me. Um, yeah, that's so. But it was like, I'm also glad that he talked about it, because I probably would have been like, oh, whatever happened, and I would have never known. So I'm glad that it was brought up, even if I disagree with his particular conclusions on the matter, or that I think the conclusions are a little bit more mixed than he was murdered. Um, yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to leave it there on that happy note. More videos later.